Hello everyone, I welcome you all to this lesson. Today I am going to discuss Act 4, Scene 1, Part 3, which is written by William Shakespeare. This scene takes place at Venice, a court of justice. So here I begin. And before that, let me ask you, have you subscribed to my channel? If you have not subscribed up till now, then please do. And watch the video till end. And press the like button if you have liked it. So let us start Act 4, Scene 1, Part 3 of Merchant of Venice. This is the last part of the trial scene of Merchant of Venice. I have already done Part 1 and Part 2 of this scene, and one more scene is left, the summing up of the Merchant of Venice of the trial scene. When Portia had heard Bassanio making the offer that he would rather sacrifice everything to this curious Jew to stop any damage coming to Antonio's person, and in the very presence of Portia. So Portia remarks that your wife would hardly give you any thanks for this. Then Nerissa is also equally unhappy and tells Gratiano, as Gratiano is always in a habit of going one step further than Bassanio. So what does Bassanio says and tells, I wish my wife was in heaven to use some heavenly powers in the mind of Shylock from some evil motives. That is, she might use some powers to mold the mood of Shylock. To this Nerissa says that this would give him a discord in your household. Shylock is very displeased with the Christian's husband because his daughter has run away with a Christian. And he says that just see the Christian's husband, the example of Christian's husband, and I would prefer that my daughter would marry someone from the line of Barbarus than marrying a Christian. So someone in the line of Barbarus, a murderer, is more welcome to him than the Christian husbands. And then he says, we are wasting time. So Portia tells, a pound of flesh from merchant's breast will be given to you, as the law allows it and the court awards it. So it was here where I had stopped it. And so I had stopped in Act 4, Scene 1, Part 2. So Shylock is very happy. And what does he say? Most learned judge, a sentence come, prepare. So he feels that Portia is supporting him, supporting his claim. So most rightful judge, so learned judge. What a judgment. Come, be prepared. This he tells to Antonio. Portia, tarry a little. This is a very important word, tarry, as it will come in two places and many a times question is asked in the examination. Come, as wide as Portia says tarry. So in two cases the answers are different, as tarry comes twice and it is for two different reasons. This time she says tarry a little, which means wait a little. A little later she will say tarry Jew. Why? Let's see. Why does she say? Tarry a little, there is something else. So she was very happy and was ready to cut a pound of flesh. Then at that moment Portia stops her. Portia says and stops him. Tarry a little means wait a little, something else is there. This bond doth give thee no jot of blood. So since Shylock was adamant that every point of the bond should be carried out, and what is not written in the bond is not allowed. In the same way, what is not sanctioned in the bond, you cannot take it. So the bond allows you course 1 pound of flesh, but it does not allow you to take 1 drop of blood. The words expressly are a pound of flesh. So the words clearly are a pound of flesh. Take then thy bond, and take thy bond of flesh. But in cutting it, if thou dost shed one drop of Christian's blood, then our land, goods, all by law of Venice, confiscate unto the state of Venice. Yes, the bond promises you 1 pound of flesh, and take it, you are allowed to carry on the conditions mentioned in the bond. Whatever has been written in the bond, take it. But in the bond, nothing has been mentioned about the blood. It is only said 1 pound of flesh. So while cutting the pound of flesh, if you shed 1 drop of blood, 1 drop of this Christian's blood, Antonio's blood, what will happen? What are the consequences? So your all land, all your mobile and immobile property, everything will be confiscated by the laws of Venice and to the state of Venice. Everything will go to the state treasure. Shylock, now he is in trouble. And who is very jubilant? Gratiano. So Gratiano says, O upright judge, O Jew, mark Jew, O learned judge. So Jew, note, up till now it had been Shylock who was praising Portia, and now it is the time for Gratiano to be jubilant. So he says, yes, just see what a learned judge. Shylock is utterly confused. Is that the law? Is that the law, Portia? Thyself shall see the act, for as thou august justice, be assured, thou shalt give justice more than thou shalt desirest. So she says, you will see how the law functions, how it operates. You had urged for justice, and you will get much more than you had asked for. Yes, you were demanding for justice, and that I want justice, and you will get justice, but much more than you are asking for. Gratiano, O learned Jew, O learned judge. Jew, a learned judge. So Jew, just see what a learned judge. Shylock, I'll take this offer then, pay this bond thrice, and let the Christian go. So now Shylock realizes that cutting the flesh is dangerous. It will result in confiscating all his properties. So you cannot cut a pound of flesh without shedding a drop of blood, which is impossible. So which is better? Better option, let me take thrice the money offered to me, and I will go, and let him go. So Bassanio wants to settle off the case as fast as he can. So the next moment he says, Bassanio, here is the money. But Portia will teach the Jew a lesson for his cruelty. Portia thought, wait, the Jew shall have all justice, soft, no haste. He shall have nothing but the penalty. This is for Bassanio. Stop. As Bassanio was offering the money, so she says, stop. The Jew had been urging for justice, so he will get full justice. And then she again tells Bassanio, don't be in a hurry. He will have nothing but the penalty. That is the pound of flesh, pound of merchant's flesh. Gratiano, O Jew, an upright judge, O learned judge. So see, Jew, so Shylock, see, what an upright judge, what a learned judge. But this time, it is not in favor of Shylock, but it is in favor of Christian, Antonio, who were his friend. So it is Bassanio's time to call Portia a learned judge and upright judge, and he is deliberately calling upon Shylock and says, see Shylock, what an upright judge. So Portia says, therefore prepare thee to cut off the flesh. So she tells Antonio to get ready to cut off the flesh. Now she is telling Shylock, shed thou no blood. Not cut thou less nor more. Another difficult condition added, you will not be allowed to cut the pound of flesh a little more or a little less, and you are not allowed to shed any blood. Another point to be noted is that you will neither cut more than a pound nor less than a pound. The bond promises you only 1 pound, not more nor less. If you have to cut exactly 1 pound, and that is very difficult. How can you cut exactly 1 pound of flesh? But just a pound of flesh, if thou cuttest more or less than just a pound, be it so much, and makes it light or heavy, in the substance or the division of the 20th part of a poor cripple. Nay, if the scale do turn, but in the estimation of thou diest, and all the goods are confiscated. Really a very difficult condition. If you cut a little less or a little more, even by 1/20th part of one scruple, because scruple is the smallest unit of measurement, and 1/20th part of the scruple means it will be very little, it will hardly be visible. Even if you cut that part more or that part less, or that if you cut more or less in the breadth of the hair, estimation of a hair, then also you will die. That means it has to be exactly 1 pound, not a little more, not a little less. 1/20th part of the scruple, less or more, is also not allowed. If you do that, then you will die and your property will be confiscated. It goes to the government. Shylock is in trouble. Even the butcher wouldn't know how much is 1 pound, exactly 1 pound. So Shylock is in real trouble. And Portia says that he cannot have the money because he has refused. He will have only penalty. Now Gratiano is very happy. It is like adding salt to the injuries. Shylock is in trouble. And Gratiano keeps on teasing him with his own words are being sent back to him. Earlier he had been jubilant and calling a Daniel. Now it is Gratiano's turn tease Shylock and call Portia a Daniel. A second Daniel, a Daniel. Jew, now infidel. I have you on a hip. So he is saying Jew, he is a Daniel. See, he is a Daniel. Wow, how infidel. I have you on a hip. Infidel means non-believer in Christianity. So Shylock is a Jew, and that is he is infidel. And I have you on the hip means I have you at my advantage. That means I have you at a disadvantageous position. Shylock is in a disadvantageous position. And now Gratiano says that I have now a strong hold on you, Portia. Why doth the Jew pause? Take thy forfeiture. So why are you waiting? Take thy forfeiture. Take your penalty. To this Shylock says, give me the principal and let me go. He is a defeated man. What is his principal? The 3,000 ducats which he had lent to Bassanio. At least give me that and let me go. He had come here to be happy. So happy. He had come here so happy to cut the pound of flesh from Antonio and see him dying so that he could do whatever business he liked. If Antonio was out of Venice, and at the end of the day, where is he? He is in a very disadvantageous position. and get his pound of flesh and the money also which he had offered earlier. That also he is not allowed to take. So now he is asking for his bare principal, the 3,000 ducats. At least give me that and let me go. So Bassanio again, I told you he is over eager to give him the money, which is not his, it is Portia's money. Bassanio, I have it ready for thee. Here it is. So 3,000 ducats, take it. Portia, he hath refused in the open court. He shall have merely justice and his bond. So she says that. So she tells Bassanio that you are not going to give him money, 3,000 ducats, because he had already refused it in the court. He is going to have nothing but only justice, and that too his own penalty, and that too at his own danger, that is at his own risk. Gratiano, Daniel still say, second Daniel. Another thing to be noted is that Gratiano also says Daniel twice. First time he says, and a second Daniel, a Daniel Jew, when Portia tells that if you cut a pound of flesh a little less or a little more from the estimation of a hair, you will die, and your property will go to the state of Venice, will be confiscated. That is where he say a Daniel, a second Daniel, a second Daniel, a Daniel, and another time he says a Daniel, first Daniel, and then he calls him a second Daniel when Bassanio offers 3,000 ducats to Shylock. His bare principal and Portia stops him from giving that by saying that he will have only justice and nothing more. Then he calls a Daniel, a second Daniel. Why am I pointing out to this? Because there are times when you get this question and you are confused. Terry and Daniel, they have been asked twice. So which occasion you have to be clear on which occasion these two words are spoken two times. So which occasions you have to be clear about it, otherwise your answer would go wrong. So I am pointing it out. Keep it in your mind. I thank thee, Jew, for teaching me that word. Jew or Shylock, I am really very thankful to you for teaching me the word Daniel. Shylock, poor man, shall I have barely my principal? So, am I not going to have just my principal? The 3,000 ducats, which is mine, it is mine money, which I have lent, am I not going to have that also? Portia, thou shalt have nothing but the forfeiture to be taken at the peril due. You are not going to have anything but the forfeiture. But I think he should be allowed the principal amount and forfeiture. But Shakespeare has not allowed him to take either of them. So you are only going to have the penalty. And what is the penalty? A pound of flesh. And that also to be taken at your risk. Shylock, why then the devil give him good of it? I'll stay no longer. Question. So may he go to hell. May the devil take him. I am not going to stay here any longer, because he feels it is of no use for him to stay here any longer. He is not going to get what he has been desiring for, what he has been aiming at. So he turns to go, but Portia will not allow him to go so easily. So she says, Portia, tarry Jew. That time it was tarry a little, and this time it is tarry Jew. When she says tarry Jew, when Shylock is ready to leave, and then she says tarry Jew, and you might get a question, why does she say tarry Jew? Tarry, Jew, the law hath another hold on you. Stop, Shylock, you cannot leave, because the law has another hold on you. And this time she tells Shylock to wait, because he was leaving the court, and in the earlier time she told him to wait when he was ready to cut a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. So saying, tarry in two different occasions. And you have to keep in mind, tarry, Jew, this time when he is about to leave, and tarry a little when he is about to cut a pound of flesh. Okay, keep this in mind. No more confusions. She reads from a book. This is the Law Book of Venice. It is enacted in the Laws of Venice, if it is to be proved against an alien. Here alien means foreigner. That is, that my direct or indirect attempt, he seeks the life of any citizens. The party against which he doth contrive shall seize one half of his goods, and the other half comes to the privy coffer of the state, and the offender's life lies in the mercy of the Duke, only against all other voices. So now she is reading the Law Book of Venice. What is written in it? That according to the laws of Venice, if a foreigner conspires to take the life of the citizen of Venice, either directly or in an indirect fashion, then the punishment given to him by the law of Venice is that party against whom he had conspired, that party will get half of his goods. So his goods will be confiscated. The party against whom he had protested, that person will get half of his goods, and the other half will go to the state treasury, and the offender persons who has planned this for that foreigner, his life will be at the mercy of the Duke. Duke only can allow him his life. Offender's life will be at the mercy of the Duke only against everyone, means no one else can do anything about it. That is, everyone means no one can do anything about it. It is up to the Duke to forgive him or to punish him with the order of execution. Either he gives the order of execution that he should be executed, or he gives him forgiveness. But it lies entirely upon the Duke to allow him to live or to give him the death sentence, in which predicament I say thou standest. I say that you are standing in a similar situation. For it appears my manifest proceedings that indirectly and directly thou hast contrived against the very life of the defendant, and thou hast incurred the danger formerly by me rehearsed. Down therefore and beg mercy of the Duke. So it means in a number of ways that directly or indirectly you have plotted against the very life of the defendant. Who is the defendant? The defendant is Antonio. You have plotted against his life, and as such you have incurred the danger which I have just now said. So what is the danger? Half of your property will go to the person against whom you have plotted, a half will go to the state, and your life will be at the mercy of the Duke. So go down to your knees and beg mercy from the Duke. Mercy to the Duke, so that he forgives your life. Remember, at one time he had thought that he doesn't need mercy. But what have I done? I need no mercy. Soon see what happened. See the irony. He is in such a situation that now he needs mercy. So Gratiano, putting all the more salt to his injuries of Shylock and rubbing it, Gratiano, beg that thou mayst have leave the hand thyself, and yet thy wealth being forfeit to the state. Thou hast not left the value of the court. therefore thou must be hanged at the stage charge. So instead of begging your life from the Duke, beg from the Duke that you should be allowed to hang yourself. And since you should be left with no money, as your money go to the state or to Antonio, you don't have money left to buy a cord for yourself. In order to hang yourself, you need a cord. You need a rope, but you don't have any money left to buy a rope because all the money has been confiscated. So beg to the Duke that he allows you the money to allow you to buy the rope to hang you. Now Shylock is silent as he knows that it is not my day. The day which he had started so well has suddenly become very cloudy for me. It is their turn to rejoice now. So he does not answer. Duke, that thou shalt see the difference of our spirit. Now the high and mighty Christian attitude. So he tries to show the Christian are the superior human beings. That thou shalt see the difference of our spirit. I pardon thee thy life before thou ask it. So before you ask for your life, I forgive you. In this way, he is trying to show that in comparison to the Jews, how kind and noble the Christians are. So before you ask for your life, I am forgiving you. Before you ask for forgiveness, I forgive you. That is the difference between the spirit of a Jew and that of a Christian. That is our spirit. For half the wealth it is Antonio's, the other half gone to the state, which humbleness may drive into a fine. All the wealth which has been confiscated, half of which Antonio, I have no voice. But there regarding the other half which comes to the state treasury. So if you repent humbly for your sins, for your mistakes, for your offense, then I can let you go with a fine. You are sincerely repenting. Portia, for the state, not for Antonio. So that applies to the state, not for Antonio, because Antonio's money, he has his voice over it. What to do, not to do over it. So what's the Duke says regarding the fine and letting it go, it is about the state treasury. The money will go to the state treasury. This is what the Duke offers. Shylock, nay, at my life all, pardon not that. So what's the use of giving my life? Me my life, don't forgive me my life. Take my life also. You take my house, when you do take the drop, that doth sustain my house. You take my life, when you do take the means whereby I live. So when you pull away the supports of my life, the pillar of my house, then my house will automatically fall down. In the same way, I am a money lender, and if you take away my money, then what is the use of giving away my life? Because without money, I cannot sustain my life. So what is the use of giving away my life? Take my life as well. Because now, how can I live without money? The Jews were allowed only to carry on one profession in Venice, and that was money lending. So if you are a money lender, you need money. So how can you continue with the life if I have no money? So no use of giving my life. Take that life also. Portia, what mercy can you render to him, Antonio? So Antonio, what mercy can you show him? Gratiano, a halter gratis, nothing else. For God's sake, don't assure him any mercy. Give him a halter or a rope to hang himself. Antonio, so please my lord the Duke and all the court to quit the fine for one half of his goods. I am contented. So he tells the Lord and the court that if you are letting him pay the fine of his goods, so I am quite satisfied with it. So he will let me have the other half in use. So he tells that if he allows me the other half to render it upon his death unto the gentleman that stole his daughter. So if he allows me to have the other half of his wealth, then I should give it to the gentleman whom he has married after Shylock's death. Give it to that gentleman who had recently run away with or eloped with his daughter Jessica. That means Lorenzo. Two things provided more, that for his favor he is presently becoming a Christian, the other that he records a gift here in the court of all he dies possessed unto the son Lorenzo and his daughter, and two other conditions that Antonio has in that return for his favor. He must become a Christian, and not only that, he should draw up a gift deed that after he dies, all that he possesses at the time of his death, that they should go to his son-in-law Lorenzo and his daughter Jessica. So these are Antonio's conditions, and these are the mercy which Antonio shows to Shylock. Duke, he shall do this, or else I recant pardon, and I lay it pronounced here. So at this moment the Duke is very strict and says that Shylock will have to obey these orders, and he will have to do it. Otherwise, the pardon which I have granted him, I will take it back. Portia, art thou contented, Jew? What does thou say? So beggars can't be choosers. This is what Shylock's condition is at this moment. He has become a beggar, a pauper, and he cannot be a chooser. So he has to accept whatever is coming to him. Shylock, I am content. Portia to Nerissa, clerk, draw a deed of gift. So Nerissa draws a deed of gift. Portia fought well with the help of Bellero's note. And how will Nerissa draw a gift deed? She is not really the clerk, and all these are some impossible things framed up. Clerk draws the deed of gift, that is the gift deed. Shylock, I pray you give me leave to go from hence. I am not well. Send the deed to me, and I'll sign it. So Shylock is defeated man. Everything is going against him at the last moment. So he says, please, you allow me to go. You all do whatever you want to do. Want to draw the deed of gift, that is the gift deed, and send it to my house, and I will sign it. Please let me go. I am not feeling well. Duke, get the gone, but do it. So the Duke tells, okay, you are allowed to go, but sign the gift deed. Don't forget to do that. Gratiano, in Christianity shalt thou have 2 godfathers. Had I been judge, thou shouldst have had 10 more to bring thee to the gallows, not to the font. So Gratiano, he continues with the hatred against Shylock. So he says, if I had been the judge, what would I have been given? If Shylock becomes a Christian, he will have another godfather. Once he had been baptized as a Jew and given the name of Shylock, he had one godfather. In those arms, he was held and given the name of Shylock. And now that he is being converted to Christian, then he will be given a Christian name by his godfather. In that case, he will be having 2 godfathers. So Gratiano is telling that had I been the judge, I would have given him 10 more godfathers. That means the 12 juries who helps a judge in giving a judgment. So I would have given him a judgment not to be converted to Christianity, but to be hanged. So I would have gone to 12 juries to take you to the gallows. That means the place where a person is hanged, rather than to the front. So where he will be baptized. So instead of being baptized in the church, I would have rather sent him to your gallows. So Shylock doesn't answer, and he goes. Duke, rising, Sir, I entreat you come you home with me to dinner. So Duke requests Portia and invites her for dinner. But Portia, I humbly do desire your grace pardon. I must away this night towards Padua, and it is meet I presently set forth. Portia very politely refuses, telling that she must reach Padua. Padua, why? Because Dr. Bellerio, the letter says that she has come from Dr. Bellerio, which is not the fact. But she has to say that same because as Balthazar, the noted Roman doctor of law, she has to go back and report to Dr. Bellerio regarding the case, what has happened. So she cannot tell that she has to go back to Belmont, because in that case Bassanio would be suspicious. So she tells that she has to go back to Padua, and it is required that I should leave immediately. Duke, I am sorry that your leisure serves you not. Antonio, gratify the gentleman, for in my mind you are much bound to him. So Duke is quite sorry that it is really sad that you cannot join us for dinner. And this he tells to Antonio to pay him, because I think you are quite obliged to him, as he saved your life. So the Duke and his attendant, they leave. Bassanio, most worthy gentleman, and I, my friend, have by your wisdom been this day acquitted of grievous penalties, in lieu whereof 3,000 ducats do unto the Jew we freely cope your courteous pains withal. So Bassanio says, I and my friend, that is Antonio, because of you we have been free from severe consequences. Consequences what? Nothing to Bassanio, but to Antonio, his best friend. Because of him, he would have died. So Portia has come as a savior and as a fee. What is he offering? The 3,000 ducats which he had borrowed from Shylock, the principal amount of Shylock. This one he offers to Portia, the lawyer Balthazar, as the payment. Antonio, and start indebted over and above in love and service to you and evermore. And over and above this, we will always remain indebted to you in love and service. Portia, he is well paid, that is well satisfied. So a person who is satisfied with the job he has done feels himself well paid. And I, in delivering you, am satisfied. In getting you free, I feel satisfied, and therein I do account myself well paid, and I consider myself well paid because I have been able to free you. My mind was never get more mercenary. I was never more money-minded. I pray you now know me when we meet again. I wish you well, and so I take my leave. This is an irony. She is telling when we meet next, please recognize me. Please don't forget me. When we meet next, this is an irony because they are going to meet her as Balthazar. They are not going to meet her as Balthazar. Next time they will meet her, then in that case she will be at Belmont as Portia. So she is telling, please don't forget me. Know me when we meet again. Soon they are going to meet again, but Bassanio and Antonio does not realize what she is speaking, and so I take my leave. Bassanio, dear sir, of force I must attend you further. Take some remembrance of us as a tribute, not as a feast. Grant two things. I pray you not to deny me and to pardon me. So Bassanio won't let us go like that, and that is where he hands himself into trouble. He says, "Please, I will force you. At least take some remembrance as a tribute, and I ask you two things. Don't refuse me, and forgive me for forcing you to accept it." Portia: "You press me for, and therefore I will eat. You are pressing me too much. I will surrender to your wishes." To Antonio: "Give me your gloves. I'll wear them for your sake." So to Antonio she asks something which is less harmful. It is not at all harmful and not at all troublesome. So she says that, "Give me your gloves," from Antonio, and tells him that, "I will wear them for your sake." To Bassanio: "And for your love, I will take this ring from you." So she is deliberately up to mischief. She asks Bassanio that the very ring which she had given herself on their wedding day, and told that you should not part with it. It should be not given to anyone. It should not be sold, and it should not be lost. And Bassanio had promised to it, and now she is asking for that very ring. And the next moment Bassanio draws her back his hand. Do not draw back your hand. I'll take no more, and you in love shall not deny me this." So she says, "Do not draw your hands at the back. I will not take anything else. And being a friend, I'm sure you will not refuse it." Bassanio: "This ring, good sir, alas, it is a trifle. I will not shame myself to give you this." So he says to Portia that, "You are asking for this ring? This is a very insignificant ring. I will not shame myself to give you this. So I wouldn't shame myself to give you such a trifling ring, such a cheap ring." Portia: "I will not have anything else but only this, and now methinks I have a mind to it." And Portia is enjoying this situation and says that, "I do not want anything else other than this ring. I have decided to have it only." Now Bassanio is in trouble. Now Bassanio says the truth. There more depends on this than the value. So he says that this is more to me than its real value on this ring. Rather, I will have an announcement for the costliest ring in Venice and give it to you. But this ring, forgive me. And how will I find the most expensive ring? By making an announcement and then finding that ring. I will buy it for you. The dearest ring in Venice I will give you, and find it by proclamation. Only for this, I pray you, pardon me. But for this ring, please forgive me." Portia: "I see, sir, you are liberal in offer. You taught me just to beg, and now methinks you teach me how a beggar should be answered." So Portia is enjoying the situation, and now she is tormenting in a naughty manner to Bassanio, and telling him that you are very generous in making offers, but you are not so generous in carrying them out. First you teach me to beg, and I did not wish for anything. You forced me to ask for something, and you forced me to beg. You taught me to beg, and when I am begging, you are showing me how a beggar should be answered. Bassanio: "Good sir, this ring was given to me by my wife, and when she put it on, she made me vow that I should neither sell it, nor give, nor lose it." So finally he confesses that this is my wedding ring, and my wife had made me promise that I should neither sell, nor give, nor lose it. So Portia deliberately keeps on asking for that very ring. Portia: "That excuse serves many men to save this gift, and if your wife be that a mad woman and know how well I deserve this ring, she would not hold out enemy forever. For giving it to me, well, peace be with you. So she is telling that people make such excuses when they want to save their gifts. If your wife is not a bad woman, and if she knows how well I deserve this ring, she would not remain an enemy with you for a long period of time. She will not be angry with you for a long time because she knows how much I deserve the ring. But it seems that people make excuses like this when they want to save a gift. Anyway, may you have peace with your pretending to be angry. She leaves with Nerissa. Antonio, my Lord Bassanio, let him have the ring. Let his deserving and my love with her be valued against your wife's commandment. So Antonio says, my Lord Bassanio, please let him have the ring, the service which he has done, and your love for me. Let these two combine against your wife's order. Your wife has given your order, but if you are breaking your wife's order and promise as given that you may not sell, nor lose, nor give it, but let on the other side, let my love for you and the deserving of this lawyer together combine and give him the ring. Bassanio, go Gratiano. So how can he refuse Antonio? He had refused the lawyer, but he could not refuse Antonio, the man who has wished his very life and was on the verge of dying because of him. So he cannot refuse Antonio's wish. So when Antonio requests him, Bassanio agrees and he tells Gratiano to go and give the ring. Go, Gratiano, run and overtake him, give him the ring and bring him, if thou canst, unto Antonio's house. Away, make haste. So take this ring, overtake him and hand him over the ring, and see if you can bring him to Antonio's house. Away, make haste, go fast. So Gratiano takes the ring. Come, and I will hither presently, and in the morning early will both fly towards Belmont. Come, Antonio. So Bassanio says, come, you and I will thither. Thither is a Old English, which means there. We'll go, and tomorrow morning we both will rush towards Belmont. Come, Antonio. So both of them, they leave. So finally, Act 4, Scene 1, the climax of trial scene comes to an end, and everyone is happy over there except Shylock. Shylock is portrayed as a negative power which is defeated in the end. So it is always the good wins over the evils. So victory of good over evil. So this part, Act 4, Scene 1, is divided into 3 videos which has been finished today. So dear children, with these words, I end Act 4, Scene 1 in 3 parts, in 3 videos. Hope I am able to explain it in a lucid manner, and it will prove beneficial for you in your studies. Do like, share and subscribe my channel, and yes, watch the video till end and leave a comment below. Thank you.